Alright, so I moved the wheel weights. So this is what I use. Motion Pro. Motion Pro makes motorcycle parts, tools and such. Mostly tools. So these weights are actually they're actually 7 grams. So the weights that came off the wheel here were 5 grams. So there was 4 or 5 grams. So that's 20 grams. So since these are 7 grams, I use 3 of them to make it 21 grams. So that's that's close enough. So I use a small flathead, probably off the old ones. I place it further in the towards the inside of the barrel, and I cleaned it with Simple Green first. Simple Green, and after that, after it dried, wiped it dried, and I used denatured alcohol. And you guys should see. Let's see where it's at. Let's see, right there. So if you guys can see that, see those weights, right there. So in there, so basically the old weights were out. And the old weights were out right here, right? So I just peeled it off, cleaned it up a little bit. I used a little bit of Goop Gone, or Goop Gone, whatever it's called, adhesive, remover. I could have used a little bit more, but I'm not too concerned. I mean, it's pretty dirty in there anyways. So let's look at the rotor. So this is a very tight fit. If you see my other video when I tried my 15-inch Kozai K4Rs, I think they're called, with the stock, the stock setup, I want to see how good it fits a 15-inch. And remember, I had this filler rod, 1/16 filler rod, TIG welding rod, and I try to fit it between the caliper and the rim, and it couldn't fit through. So it looks like this one is the same way. It doesn't fit through. So it's a very tight fit. Personally, I don't like that. I mean, this is 1/16. 1/16 is what? 1/16 is, I think, 1.5 or 1.6 millimeters or something, somewhere around there. So personally, I don't like it being this tight. So remember, this rotor is 12.75 inches. They should have made it 12.5 inches. So give it a little bit more clearance here. I would have been more comfortable that way, mainly because sometimes you get gravel or something like that. It might end up between the caliper and the rim, right? And if it gets wedged in there, it's gonna gouge your caliper and it's gonna gouge your rim, and potentially it could leave a weak spot in the rim, right? Potentially that could be a failure spot. So I don't like that. They should have gave us a little bit more space here. I would have been comfortable with having a 1/4 inch. Would have been perfect with a 1/4 inch, but that's what this space is right here. Between the rotor, the spoke and the caliper here. This is about I think this is about 1/4 inch or so. Yeah, pretty close to about 1/4 inch. They should have made it, the gap like that. I would have been much more comfortable if they had made the gap here, the gap over here, the same as the gap right in here. So besides that, it looks like everything looks good, spinning good. It feels in the wheel nicely. All right, let's stop that spinning. So it feels in the wheel pretty nicely. Compared to stock. I actually haven't torqued it down yet. So remember on the other video, when I was putting on the rotor, the hat the hat is actually thinner, so it actually sat further in. Remember where the hub where the end with the flange, where it came out right here, the center right here, it about doubled the space. So it went from about 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters to about 8 or 10 millimeters. So it doubled the space. So one of my concern with that was that the nut might not go all the way in, and that stud might bottom out on the nut here. So I mean, this is not torqued down yet, so I don't know. It's on there, and I'm shaking it. I don't feel any wiggling at all. So hopefully there was space there. So it should be okay. So I'm gonna lower the car and torque it down. But let's look at it again. So let's look here. here I could basically stick 2 fingers in there. Right? I can stick 2 fingers in there at the first knuckle. 2 fingers at the first knuckle. Okay. So let's go to the other side. Over here. 3 fingers. Yeah. It looks like it'll be 3.5 fingers. 3.5 fingers. So anyways, it's kind of hard to see. I'm parked in a carport right now, so I don't have much space on the side of me, so I can't step back and see how the original side was versus the new big rotor side. But anyways, it definitely looks, you know, filled in now, so it looks pretty cool. Yeah. So after that, so I'm done on this side. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and I'm not gonna make a video on the other side. Just, you know, one side is good enough, right? It's the same thing on the other side. Yeah. All right. That's it. So I guess the only thing I need to do now is, you know, drive around for about 50 miles, 100 miles. After that, I'm gonna recheck all the torque on these, you know, on the hats, the bolts on the hats. I'm gonna check the torque on that, and I'm gonna probably double check the torque on the caliper mounting, you know, the 4 at the caliper and at the bracket, those 4 as well. After let's say about 50 miles, 100 miles. Then after that, you know, Goodwin says to do the bedding it in. So probably might not do that. I don't know. You know, I've never bedded in any rotors I've ever had in the past. But then, you know, I only do mountain riding, or mountain driving. You know, I'm not doing track driving. Mountain driving is it can't get as hot as track driving, I think. I mean, you're not going as fast. You know, then you're not going over 100 miles an hour or nothing like that. But when you're going downhill, especially a steeper downhill, and you have to brake from that gets hot. You know, that's why it got bigger rotors. And we'll see how the stock brake pads work. I know the stock brake pads don't perform as well as, you know, other, you know, aftermarket brake pads, or these high performance ones. But, you know, they have the advantage. You know, it's quiet. You know, one of the things is quiet, and it's for street use. But they didn't hold up to heat that well. But with the rotors getting bigger and having more mass at the rotors, it's gonna be cooler. So that in turn will also keep the pads cooler, so it won't be as affected by heat as much, right? So that's the advantage of just having this more mass at the rotor. So you don't hear the rubbing at all. But then, you know, I should step on the brakes a few times just to, you know, or ride it and come back and see. But anyways, there you have it. All right, thanks for watching.